You can't just sit and go, oh, that's terrible. Maybe somebody else will take care of it. Oh, that's not so nice. Well, I don't think it's nice when they're telling your 5-year-old that he can go and suck another 5 you. This is what they're doing.
No, they're not. So that is our Monday Minutes. We came back from the weekend to that from Rayla Campbell, who, look, is, to be fair, just a rando who also happens to be the nominee to be the Republican Secretary of State for Massachusetts. So that's fun. Anyway, if you couldn't tell from the bleeping out in that video, what Rayla Campbell is saying is that they are telling little children to engage in oral sex with each other, which, Francesca, I never experienced coming from a teacher when I was in school. I don't think that they're happening now. I think that what Rayla Campbell is doing is just the natural evolution of just pretend that every teacher in America is a pedophile. And that is how you raise your profile. It is certainly working for her. She has not been weeded out despite past controversies, and she's doing quite well for herself.
I'm like really sickened by this kind of stuff. Like, it is, as someone, who's got a teacher in the family. My brother teaches 3rd grade. He doesn't make a lot of money doing it. He is always tired. He has to deal with so much. He always raises funds for any kind of school supplies every single year, goes above and beyond. There's just so much we ask of teachers, and people have no idea. People have no idea what's going on in classrooms. You don't know. What is actually going on is you don't have enough books and you're trying to teach, like basic math. Like, that's what it is. What's going on is you're trying to make things as engaging and interesting for your students. You're trying to, reach them at different levels. I mean, there's so much that teachers need. And what they definitely don't need is more propaganda. And again, all of this, and I know that, like, yes, it's about sort of, this woman making her campaign stick out among the crazies, but it's also in the same vein of trying to privatize and dismantle the public schooling system in this country and continuing to demonize teachers, on any grounds, right? Oh, let's demonize them for wanting more pay and move to charter schools. Let's demonize them for not protecting kids and move to charter schools and private schools. Let's demonize them for being pedophiles and move to charter schools and private schools, or whatever it is. And it's all part of that propaganda machine that is working against people that we should be paying 3 times as much than we do.
Yeah. Why don't they think that charter school teachers are pedophiles? Is there a reason? I mean, ideologically, I know it's because they like them and they don't actually believe this. It's just a convenient ruse to get rid of public education. But like, why would it just be true of the public school teachers? But that's what they're saying. This is all insane nonsense. This is just satanic panic. They don't. I don't know. Like, to say that they don't believe it, I think is accurate in some ways. I think that belief means something very different to these people. My beliefs are supposed to be founded in evidence. They believe things or say that they do. They identify that they do because it feels good to do so. It provides a very cheap rush of moral superiority to the outsiders. That is what she is providing for them. Now, the Boston Globe tried to get her to provide some evidence for these insane claims that she was making. She didn't provide any. She pointed reporters to a bill about sex education currently being debated by the state legislature that calls for medically accurate, age-appropriate sex education programs in school, including information about sexual orientation and gender identity. She did not describe how a hypothetical change that would allow for gender identity education is producing orders to engage in oral sex right now. She didn't actually describe that. But she does say that we are going to crush and destroy these rotten devils that call themselves Democrats. This is a battle of good versus evil. She is not the nominee to be pastor or whatever. She wants to be the Secretary of State. Now, why would she choose that, Francesca? Because she cares about election procedure so much? No, she wants to be the crazy person that's in a position to potentially manipulate the results of an election. That's all that this is about.
Oh God, I mean, these are the predators and the groomers of like our electoral process, And I don't know if it's gonna fly. Does she have kids? What does she do with her kids? Does she even know what's actually going on and what's not going on? Have you been to Disneyland?
Nothing like that. Yeah, I don't know. And as I've said before, like I get that for most of them, this is just a convenient ruse. They figured out amongst themselves that they can just say that everyone they disagree with wants to have sex with and or eat children.
Yep.
And enough of their followers are just like, no, that's true. And so then you don't have to debate anything at that point because you don't negotiate with pedophile cannibals. And so they say it. They just say it, and it's working for them. It's disgusting, but it's working for them.
What I hate about the whole pedophile claim and the BS from the right is actually not the right that echoes it over and over again. It's that Democrats do not bring up the well-documented cases of GOP operatives who have been found with child pornography, who have been found to be involved with sex trafficking, like an aide to Donald Trump. George Nader was found guilty, sentenced to, I believe, 10 years. Then another GOP operative in the RNC, also found guilty of child pornography, sentenced to, I believe, 10 to 12 years, admitted. And Democrats, because they're so obsessed with the respectability politics, don't want to get any dirt on them. They don't want to get down in the trenches. They're calling you guys pedophiles, but you have actual proof. Who's protecting children, right? Who's actually protecting children? So, I mean, there is a lane that has already been carved out that unless you can't just rise above it and not talk about it, especially when the others are so guilty themselves. If the shoe were on the other foot and there was an operative that had been working with Hillary Clinton who actually was sentenced to child pornography, can you imagine the amount of airtime that would get? But you don't see it because it seems unbecoming for a CNN or an MSNBC. But
Sure.
But why not? I mean, crap. It gets, if it's getting clicks, if it's getting voters, if it's getting eyeballs, talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, it is a thing where you have to manage a balance of as you're saying, you have to address it because it's being used so much in an attack. But okay, Sophie's communicating with me. I think we will try to do that then. Okay. Anyway, you do have to respond to it, but you also don't want to allow it to totally dominate the news cycle because this isn't just, as I've described, a way to provide a cheap sense of moral superiority. It is also designed to push out any other conversation, any other consideration. They don't want their fans thinking about their economic lot in life. They want them to be focused on the fact that they're surrounded by pedophile kindergarten teachers. And so doing a lot of focus on it, you risk potentially reinforcing that. They've put us in a really terrible situation, not just Democrats, I mean humanity.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.